Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Sunday, and welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. Now, we are finishing up our Advanced Directives series today. We are going over DNI and DNR in a little bit more depth, but real quick, brief disclaimer. For all the source information regards to everything I have covered in regards to advanced directives, you're going to find the links for all that information right in the description box. So should you like to deep dive on the subject and look into this for yourself or a family member, you're certainly going to be able to do so. Trigger warning, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. I use profanity quite often. And some of the topics we cover on this channel can be particularly triggering. So if you are a child that is 16 and younger, or you've got a child that's 16 or younger rather, and they are watching this channel, parental supervision very much advised, alright? Alright, folks. I usually do my political trigger warning, but I think we all get the point. So DNI and DNR orders. We're going to go through the bullet points and read. I will try, with much difficulty, to keep my commentary to a minimum. In the meantime, please excuse the weird throat noises you're hearing. It is allergies, I can't help it, and I can't edit these videos to save my soul. There's a reason why my channel's not flashy and is so amateur. It's because the person who's running it, amateur. Just say it. Alright. So key takeaways they want us to take note of. CPR is a life-saving intervention healthcare providers perform when someone's heart stops beating. It's just one of the actions healthcare teams perform when trying to save someone's life. A DNR, do not resuscitate order, means a person does not want CPR or other life-saving measures in the event of a cardiac arrest. A DNI, do not intubate order, means a person does not want to be placed on a ventilator. Ventilators, that's usually when they put you in the ICU. You're usually not conscious during that time period, and you have a machine that breathes for you. It's actually quite terrifying. My ex, I've seen him undergo that 2 times. Scared the hell out of me. Granted, I've been around hospitals before. I've seen it with strangers, but you get my point. I would completely understand someone deciding no. A DNR or DNI order is commonplace for people with a terminal or life-threatening illness, but there are many reasons someone might choose this, and DNR and DNI orders can be reversed if someone changes their mind. I think it's also just nice to have on file too, because you could be a perfectly healthy and a car misses a light and runs you over on the sidewalk one day. It's good to have it on there just in case, because nothing in this current insane world is guaranteed. It's just better to have it there and not need it than to need it and not have it. At least that's kind of been my motto. Mainly because I'm paranoid, but neither here nor there. Alright, let's get into the article. It's difficult to think about the choices you have for medical care at the end of your life, and there can be a lot of important decisions to make. Do you prefer to die at home or in a hospital? Would you prefer hospice, for example? If so, what is going to be your provider for hospice? Usually, especially in cities, you get at least one or two, well, you at least get 2 to choose from. Do you want to do everything possible to prolong your life, or do you prefer to minimize treatments and procedures that might cause pain? As hard as it is, thinking about how you want to live your final days has many advantages. And one of the most important decisions everyone needs to make is whether or not they want to be revived if they're dying. Resuscitation is the medical term for the treatments or actions healthcare providers perform to save your life. Although resuscitation can improve chances of survival, what we see on popular television shows distorts our understanding of survival. Far fewer people survive resuscitation than most people believe, especially people with underlying chronic illness, and it's important to consider the drawbacks to resuscitation. DNR, or do not resuscitate, and DNI, do not intubate orders tell medical providers not to attempt CPR or resuscitation measures. Below we discuss what these means and the reason why people would put these orders in place. I was going to make a comment on it to tell you why, especially in regards to CPR, but I'm just going to let the article do it for once. But first we're going to start with DNR. One moment, please. DNR stands for Do Not Resuscitate. If your heart stops beating in cardiac arrest, a DNR order means you do not want any life-saving measures, such as CPR. Many people think that CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, is the main life-saving measure used in resuscitation, but there are actually multiple treatments and procedures. The main components of life-saving resuscitation include chest compressions. This is what most people call CPR. It is a technique that uses repeated forceful compressions of the chest to keep the blood pumping through the body when the heart is not working. Defibrillation. This treatment uses electricity to try and restart the heartbeat. This electric shock can be delivered through handheld paddles or pads that stick to the chest. Intravenous medications. Providers use many medications during resuscitation. Some of them are powerful medications, like epinephrine, that aim to get the heart beating again. But this is just one of many IV medications that someone may get when receiving chest compressions. Supporting breathing. The heart gets the most attention during a cardiac arrest, but during resuscitation it is important to keep oxygen flowing in and carbon dioxide flowing out. Placing a mask and an inflatable bag over someone's mouth can accomplish this. It can also be done with intubation, a procedure we'll explain more below. A DNR order is a legal document signed by you or someone you elect to make decisions for you and your healthcare provider. It tells all medical providers that you do not want the above treatments if your heart stops beating. There has been occasions where I have heard of people breaking the bones in the chest area, breaking some bones in the rib cage in particular when trying to perform CPR on patients. It's not just as simple as, oh, they're going and there's no further harm. Your heart is encased and surrounded by your rib cage. If your heart starts beating, you gotta be able to do this hard enough that it can and will pump blood for the heart. You kind of can't really do that when your heart's in an area that's here close to your rib cage. So a lot of people during CPR will break some areas in the rib cage so that they can reach and get that blood flowing to the heart again. Which means, yes, they saved your life, but now you have broken ribs, which can lead to all kinds of complications, particularly if particular cutting ribs actually broke through all the way, because that leaves you at high risk of possibly puncturing one of your lungs. So that might be one of the reasons somebody decides to put a DNR and just say, hey, just let me go. The health problems that could possibly come because of complications during CPR may not be necessarily something somebody wants to deal with. I would continue on living, but this is the sort of things that you need to be thinking about because we're not all the same. So, let me go ahead and continue here. But it's important to understand that a DNR order is not a do not treat order for when you're very sick or dying. It only comes into play when someone has a cardiac arrest. Now, next one. What is a DNI order? DNI stands for do not intubate. Intubation is the process of placing a breathing tube into your airway. It is a small plastic tube that sits on your windpipe or trachea. The breathing tube can connect to a ventilator, which many people call a life support machine. It's a machine that delivers oxygen to your lungs, takes carbon dioxide out, and breathes for you. Some places a DNI order where they elect not to be intubated or put on a ventilator. Many just being scared of going unconscious like that and perhaps never coming out of it, so I can understand where they're going here. There's a lot that goes into intubation. I'm not a medical professional in this area. That, in actuality, would be something that my mom would be able to speak more to you guys about at length, as she is a radiologist and, x-raying folks who do come in who do end up with some broken ribs or cracked ribs after going through CPR. That's where I learned that sort of thing. One moment, please. You may be wondering why there's a separate order for intubation when it's included in the life-saving treatments that are also part of the DNR. We'll explain. Can you have DNI orders without DNR orders and vice versa? More often, a DNR order also includes a DNI order. This is because restarting someone's heart requires supporting their breathing too. But DNI orders can be separate from DNR orders. That's where, how I've been saying throughout these series, details are important when you do these advanced directives. This is why details are key. No matter how insignificant you think it is, put it in there anyway. Better to have it in there and not need it than end up needing it to be in there and being SOL later. When someone starts to have difficulty breathing, the heart may continue beating for a period of time. If someone stops breathing completely, the heart cannot last that long. But if someone is still breathing, just not well, the heart can actually hold out for a longer period of time. The DNI order exists separately so someone can communicate whether or not they want to be put on a ventilator if they are having severe breathing difficulty, even when their heart is still beating. In other words, it saves them from being intubated outside of a cardiac arrest. Hence why you've got that in there. Now, next one. When and why do people use DNR or DNI orders? There are many reasons why people may choose to have DNR or DNI orders. In general, people and their families think about this when they're in the end stages of an illness. This is because when someone is very sick, CPR and intubation are much less likely to save their life. And even if it does, that person is unlikely to ever be disconnected from the life support machines that are keeping them alive. But every person and situation are a little different. And you don't have to wait for the end stages of an illness to start thinking about making these decisions. Some examples of why someone may choose a DNR or DNI order are, let's go through it here, terminal disease. Even if someone with a terminal disease like cancer is not in the hospital or actively sick, they may decline resuscitation when it comes to that point. Advanced chronic illness. Many people with chronic conditions like heart disease or COPD know it's more likely that their heart will stop beating or that they may stop breathing well, and they want to be proactive about stating their wishes for their end of life. Personal preferences. Someone does not have to have a terminal illness to elect this for themselves. For example, older adults may choose this when they reach an advanced age, even if they're very healthy. And some people may choose this for religious reasons. Now, we're going to go down below here. How do you establish DNR or DNI orders? There are a few ways you or your healthcare advocate can establish DNR and DNI orders. It's always helpful to start a conversation with your provider about your wishes and risks and benefits of these orders. And having them on file too, because I got mine on there. Physician Order of Life Sustaining Treatment, or POLST, which we went through in our last video. This is a medical document that details your wishes. A health provider files it. The document can travel with you between facilities. Advanced Directive, what this series is all about. A legal document that explains any wishes you get for your medical care event. You cannot speak to yourself like if you're in a coma or the state declares you incompetent, which is why this whole series and the HIPAA series and all of that has even happened. I want you guys as prepared and fortified as humanly possible because our HHS secretary is batshit insane. No, I'm not taking that back. I'll say it again, somebody give me a bullhorn and a really, really tall ass soapbox. We've gone over the living will, the durable power of attorney. Can you reverse DNR or DNI orders? Yes, you can reserve or change DNR or DNI orders. If you think you want to change your mind about your preferences, you have a conversation with your loved ones and your healthcare team. Your loved ones can help advocate for your wishes if you're not able to speak for yourself. And your provider can help answer the questions and concerns you have. They can also assist in making sure orders are changed in your medical record. Alright, here's the bottom line, folks. It is never easy to think about the end of your life or medical care and treatment you want when you're dying. But understanding your options is an important first step, and it is helpful to make these decisions early. Earlier, the better. Better to have them there and not need them than need them later and you're at the mercy of you-know-who. Yes, RFK Jr., the water makes the frogs gay HHS secretary? Yeah. Just saying, the earlier the better. I don't trust. You get what I'm saying. This alleviates stress on you and your loved ones to make a decision during a medical emergency or crisis. Even if you have not figured out what's best for you, it helps to start these conversations early with the people you trust. And if it feels overwhelming, mentioning your questions to your primary provider is a good place to start. Alright, so all of this is very brilliant advice. And of course, I'm going to be linking the link here for this article in there, the description box for you, so you can read it on your own and do your own deep diving on their website, should you like to. But this is us closing out the Advanced Directives series, folks. I want to appreciate you guys spending the time to go through this with me. I know not many people watch these videos, but I feel like it's important to get all the information I can to get people as ready and as protected as I humanly can. Because you've seen the world, right? Yeah. Alright, let's close out, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. Few we do tend to get removed from time to time. So folks, please don't forget to get the like button, hit subscribe. Please don't forget to get the comments and double check. Make sure that you are still set up to receive notifications. We're going to be continuing on still with the Down the Rabbit Hole series. We're going to be wrapping up HIPAA series coming up next week. And we're going to be starting the new one on the snake oil salesman coming up here directly. And I don't want you to miss anything. I appreciate your time. And as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea absolutely do. Hope you have a good one. I will see you all next week. Bye-bye, everyone.